Hello there, my dear. Here we are, another episode of our Coaching Corner here on YouTube. And I've got a little bit of a tough love conversation to bring you today. And I say that with a little bit of trepidation because we always know how that goes. But then also with just like, I'm not going to apologize for that, because based off of the conversation we had last week, as well as a lot of the things that I've been sharing recently, speaking so much from my personal experience in this season of my life, I'm hearing a lot of yeah buts, and a lot of well, that's great for you, Sabrina, but a lot of I'm so excited and happy for you, Sabrina, but, or that's great for you, Sabrina, it's so wonderful that you can do that, but. And all the buts, all the buts are some kind of derogatory turn on yourself. That's what I've been hearing. So we're going to hash it out. We're going to talk about it. My name is Sabrina Militello. I am a coach and founder of Empower Her Coaching. And we have these conversations every week here on my YouTube channel to light a fire in your butt. That's my hope, right? To truly help you understand that you have so much power when it comes to the life that you're living. All the power, right? If it's not going the way that you want it to go, you have the power to change it. And if you're heading in a different direction and you're trying to work on things and trying to grow things and trying to scale things and expand things and heal from things and grow things and transform things, you're in it and you're working on it and it's so hard. I'm here to tell you to keep going, because that's what it takes. So this conversation, I'm just going to be very straightforward with you and just tell you that you don't need another plan. You don't need another plan. You don't need another journal. You don't need another course. You don't need another freebie webinar. You don't need any of those things. You need a new sense of self. Okay, we're just going to get into it. Because I just went there. You need a new sense of self. We've been talking about identity for the better part of this year. I'm going to date us a little bit, but it's April 2026. I stepped into a brand new era and a phase of my career that I did not know was available to me. I stepped into that 2 months ago, almost to the date, 2 months ago. And I would say 3 weeks before that, a month before that, I didn't even know that this was a possibility. Didn't know it was available to me. So 3 months ago, my life looked completely different. The trajectory of my 2026, the goals that I was working on, the direction my business was going, everything looked different than how it looks today. And the reason for everything looking different than how it looks today is because I was a different version of myself then. Bottom line. Maybe not 3 months ago, maybe 5 months ago, I was a different version of myself. Because in all honesty, I stepped into a new level of belief and identity in what was available to me a little bit before the universe kind of caught up. All right. So that's piece number one. You have to start believing in better and more for yourself. If you want your life to shift, if you want to call in new opportunities, new relationships, more abundance, more wealth, more freedom, more health, more connection, if you want to call those things in, you have to start showing up as the person that has those things. I use this analogy a lot with my clients, that practice of the thing is the thing itself. That's something that I learned through my yoga teacher certifications in a previous life, and going through the Ayurveda kind of knowledge and understanding of the yogic principles and medicine and all of that stuff, going through all of that. That is one thing that I learned that has kind of inceptioned its way into my being. Practice of the thing is the thing itself. If I said to you, you came to me one day and you said, Sabrina, I'm just not a confident person. I'm not confident. I shy away from using my voice. I don't speak up in meetings. I know that it's gotten in the way of me being put up for promotion or me getting that lead on a project or whatever, insert your particular situation. I know it gets in the way of me speaking to like somebody that I find attractive in the gym or at the church or at the bar or wherever. It's getting in the way. And I said to you, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna practice you being confident. We're gonna have these micro moments where you can step into confident you, right? And I might instruct you in that meeting, I want you to ask a question, one question. Or when you're out in the gym, I want you to, I don't know, curate a moment where you smile at the guy that you find attractive or the girl that you think is cute or whatever. I want you to, when you're in a situation with your colleagues, I want you to voice an opinion, one opinion, or offer a solution to a problem that someone says they have. One time. You get to speak one time. That's the assignment. Speak one time, wink one time, smile one time, that's it. You're gonna have these micro moments where you're gonna practice being confident. Well, when you do that, guess how you're showing up? You're showing up as the person who is confident enough to speak in the meeting, to instigate that moment of connection, to offer a solution. That's how you're showing up. Practice of the thing is the thing. And I say that to you because you have to start showing up as the version of yourself, that lives the life you want to live, that has the abundance you want to call in, that has the opportunities, the relationships, the level of health that you want to have. How would they show up? The woman who's lost 50 pounds and now really values her health and her well-being and no longer binge eats and no longer emotionally eats and no longer binges alcohol every single weekend because she values her health and she values how much energy she has the next day. How does she show up? Because that's the clue, right? And sometimes it's easier for us to kind of project forward and think, what would the very best version of myself do in this situation? I shared this with my client community actually just a couple of days ago as kind of our coaching prompt for the week of what would she do? WWSD, what would she do? And she is you then. She is you in the future when you have the things you want, you're operating your best energy, you're achieving the things you want to achieve. What would she do? It becomes very clear what needs to shift in how you operate today when you ask that question from that perspective, right? So that's hack. That's the top tip for you. But the point that I want to get across is that things can change really, really quickly. They really can. Once you start deciding that the version of you that exists today deserves that, is capable of that, is worthy of that, you have to open yourself up to the possibility. And so when I say you don't need another plan or another planner or another freaking webinar or freebie PDF guide, you don't. You need to start showing up as that version of yourself who can. Sure, all of those tools are helpful, absolutely 100%. I am a psycho for knowledge. I am. I love to learn. I'm deep in a process right now, and I think I shared this last week of figuring out, or not even figuring out, but implementing AI-powered systems in my business. Not using AI in my business, creating AI-powered systems in my business to grow in the ways that I want to still be able to serve my clients in my coaching the way that I want to, at the level that I want to, while holding an executive leadership position in a multi-million-dollar organization. Like, I want to have both, right? So I'm deep in a process of learning how I can have my business be powered by AI, still have me, all of my knowledge and my insights and my lived experience and all the things that I have to offer forward facing, and that's how I interact with my clients. But AI powers all the back end systems that, quite frankly, I don't have time for in this era and this season that I decided was what was next for me, right? So I share that with you because I have had to show up and decide that things look different. I've had to give myself permission to show up differently. I've had to allow or be willing to be a beginner and learn and do all the things. That's where I was going. I'm a sucker for learning and learning all the things. Give me something to learn that is something that I'm interested in, and I will go to town on that baby. So I'm not against knowledge and acquiring knowledge and up-leveling your skills. That's the very antithesis of what I'm against. What I'm saying is, when you start using those things, I need a new tool, I need a new journal, I need a new practice, I need a new whatever, as a justification for you not moving forward, that's where it becomes problematic. So you don't need any of those things before you take the next step. You can be acquiring all of those things whilst you're moving forward. And that's the key takeaway, all right? So you don't need any of that stuff to call in what you want for your life. You need a new sense of self-perception, a new understanding and belief of who you are, what you're capable of, what you're worthy of, and what is available to you. When you change that, and I think we talked about this in last week's session, I'll link it here so that you, I'll try to remember to do. If you don't see it in the show notes, the link to it, just scroll back one session and you'll see it. But you don't, I don't even remember what I was going to say. See, I get turned around because I get so excited. But you need a new sense of self, essentially. Your relationship with yourself has to enter a new era, a new trajectory. Imagine, think about it like this. I shared last session some of my story, some of my history, some of the color that kind of has fed my old beliefs and understanding of who I was, what I was capable of, what was available to me. And if we continue to operate underneath those stories, still operating with those beliefs, it's like you're still friends with the same person you were friends with when you were 6. And not that they're the same person, you've grown up together. No, that person is still 6. They're still 6 years old, and you're best friends with them. How do you think that relationship is going to go? There's going to be a ton of friction there, isn't there? Because that person hasn't changed, hasn't shifted, hasn't evolved, hasn't learned new things, hasn't up-leveled their skill. They were just walking, kinda. They barely had a grasp of the English language, kinda. And here you are in your 40s being a mom and taking care of those humans and doing all the things and navigating all the situations and failing and learning and trying to figure out life and function, keep other people alive, keep a roof over your head, keep your mental health in a good place. Do you think it would still be possible for you to hold a relationship with a 6-year-old? No. And this is a very troublesome analogy, so stay with me. But you wouldn't, right? It wouldn't fit anymore. But that's the kind of relationship we have with ourselves. We still see ourselves through the lens of whenever big bad, whatever that was, happened. Whether it's trauma, whether you have attachment stuff, whether you had something really bad happen, whether you just there was a sense of self thing that shaped something happened that shaped kind of your understanding of who you are in the world, and it wasn't great. Whatever age you were when that thing happened, that's where you're still perceiving yourself from. But it doesn't fit anymore. It's not relevant anymore. We hold on to that, and to use Trent Shelton's words, some of us are addicted to our sad struggle story. I am the tough love queen, and I don't even consider it tough love. It's just love, because I'm not going to sit around and watch you struggle when you have the power to get out of it. But Trent Shelton says some of us are addicted to our sad struggle story, and I believe in the truth of that. It's easier to continue to replay the reasons why your life is the way that it is, why they're to blame, that thing that happened is to blame. And trust me, I'm not belittling anything or diminishing anything, trying to make anything small. All I'm proposing to you is that you shouldn't have to live in the reality of that for the rest of your life. I don't believe that people should be in therapy for their whole lives. You go to therapy to work through a particular thing that is a block for you. You get the tools that you need to do that, and you go and live your life free from that cage that you were in. That, I think, is the point of therapy. But we just have kind of a bastardized system that loves to have people paying out of their nose every week for the rest of their lives for a service. And so we have a lot of bad therapists where that's not their biggest concern of how to arm you with the wisdom that you already have, how to unveil it from you so that you can release yourself out of the cage and go and live your damn life. So everything that I'm saying, it's not to diminish anything that you've been through. I've got big T trauma, a lot of it. It's no longer the block for me in my life though, because I decided. So I propose to you that all of the ways in which you relate to yourself that are attached to a version of yourself that existed once, it's time for an upgrade, right? We're no longer using Blackberries, although Gio and I were watching something the other night, my husband and I, and the person was using a Blackberry, and I was like, oh, I freaking love my Blackberry. And he was like, yeah, you really did love that thing, didn't you? But no, I don't use a Blackberry anymore. I'm on not the newest iPhone. That's happening this year though, because I need those new camera features for everything that I do here. But I'm on the iPhone, whatever number this is, in the high teens, right? Because we evolve, we upgrade all of our systems that we use in our lives. We're not watching the same TV we were watching when we were 10, are we? We're not using the same computer we were using when the internet first started, are we? We're not speaking on telephones that our parents spoke on when they were teenagers, are we? Everything about how we operate and systemize our lives has been upgraded, and yet, the way we view ourselves is still stuck in 1992. Insert whatever age you were when that thing happened. So my desire for you with this conversation, and we're done, I wanted to keep this nice and short, is for you to understand that you don't need another thing out there to fix it or to make it better or to give you what you need to move forward. You need a new sense of self, a new understanding of who you are, that you can then move forward whilst up-leveling your skills, healing, growing, transforming in the ways that you want to. How do you go about doing that? It takes a decision. First of all, you have to decide that that's what you're going to do, that the version of you that has those old stories and is underneath all of that weight and is sitting in that cage no longer gets to run the show. You have to make that decision. You have to be committed to following that through, because it's probably going to be the hardest thing you've ever had to do. That certainly has been for me. Healing and growing and expanding the ways that I have, allowing myself to be uncomfortable, allowing my ego to be battered every day, allowing my sense of self to be pushed in the edges every day. It's the hardest thing that I've ever had to do, because it's been such a re-triggering process for me. But when I tell you that it's worth it, because everything you want is on the other side of that commitment and that process, I cannot overstate that enough. So that's what it takes. It takes a decision, and it takes daily commitment to the decision. And then one day you'll look around and you'll be like, holy shit, how is this my life? How have I done this? How am I in this room? How am I in these conversations? How am I living like this? You will blow your own freaking mind, but because you did that work, all right? So I empower you today with this conversation to start identifying where you're still relating to yourself in a very outdated way, identifying where it is you can upgrade those systems and those belief systems specifically, and then make the decision. Make the decision that you then follow through on with your daily committed action. That's my ask. It's a big ask. I get it. It is. But what's the alternative? Let me ask you that. What's the alternative? You're going to continue living in your sad struggle story and having all the justifications and all the reasons and all the excuses for why your life isn't the way that you want it to be? That doesn't sound like fun. You get to choose, all right? And if you ever want some guidance on that journey, want some help solidifying this new identity, that is exactly the work that I do with my private coaching clients. I'll put the link in the comments box there so you can click on that, peruse, kind of get an idea of what that could be about, and submit your application if you choose to, and we can work together on getting this going for you, because this is the block, all right? I believe in you so much. It's time that you start believing in yourself, okay? Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you subscribe to the channel, I would love that so much. Maybe share this with somebody that you think needs to hear it. Tell me your thoughts in the comments or come and find me on social media. I'd love for us to connect. Until next time, take care of yourself.